Hey, this is Matt once again. What about another video? The paid request, this time from Dan. Thank you so much for that. And for those interested in requesting pretty much any type of videos, topics, reactions, commentaries, reviews, whatever it may be, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. And this is for National Lampoon's Last Resort. This stars Haim and Feldman, and I'm laughing because I don't know what the hell this movie is. I don't know what the hell this movie was trying to be. I don't know what this movie and what such an abysmal, unfunny, unfocused smorgasbord of crapola this is supposed to be. No wonder it gets a lot of low ratings on IMDb. It deserves it, because if I have to think about it, if I did a top 20 worst comedies of all time list, this would be on there. And I don't know where it would be on the list. I mean, I felt like I was watching Going Overboard with Adam Sandler again. Which, funny enough, that I think had a mermaid as well. I'd like to block out Going Overboard with Adam Sandler. I know I had Billy Zane as like Neptune or something. This, you got Jeffrey Lewis, you know, the uncle in Double Impact, Jean-Claude Van Damme film, Every Which Way But Loose, and Any Which Way You Can, and Clint Eastwood. Like, he was in a lot of Clint Eastwood films. The father of Juliette Lewis, like Jeffrey Lewis. But yeah, I remember most from Double Impact as the uncle to Van Damme's characters. He's wearing a damn pirate suit, acting like he's drunk. Maybe he did get drunk. I would probably get drunk if I was part of this movie too. And I thought I had seen this film before, and then I realized I got confused somehow with Dream a Little Dream 2. And Dream a Little Dream 2 is stupid and goofy. But I could watch Dream a Little Dream 2, and I don't know how I got that confused with this. Maybe because they're both silly, goofy films, and I'm like, there's this movie with glasses, and that was the movie I was thinking of. That I could watch as a time waster. It's not a good movie, but as a goofy, silly time waster, I could watch it for what it is. Dream a Little Dream 2. This is hyperactive. It was a bad decade for the Coreys. Let's be honest. Like, the 90s were a bad decade for the Coreys. Both of them. Especially for Haim. Because Feldman, you could argue, he was the voice of Donatello in the first Ninja Turtles movie, and then he was so much into drugs. I think by December of 1990, he got into rehab again or something. And that's one of the reasons why he wasn't in Secret of the Ooze, which I'm like glad, because he always sucked as Donatello. I think the guy who voiced him in the second film was much better. I love the 1990 movie, but not for Feldman's voice acting. But the two of them, I mean, like Haim, it was a bad decade for him. I mean, the Double O Kid, The Dream Machine, which was mediocre at best, Blown Away, which was a blue balls. That was a terrible movie. What the hell was it they made? Or Haim made? There was a Fever Lake. Which I don't know which is worse, Fever Lake or this one. Like, Fever Lake was just insanely boring. I could say this. This wasn't boring. It was just obnoxious and annoying. That's a better way to put it. Just very... From its opening credits that have epilepsy seizure warnings, it should. It doesn't have them, but it should have epilepsy seizure warnings. With this lame-ass song, we're going to the last or something. I don't know, like the sentence doesn't even make sense in any vernacular that involves planet Earth or English language. I forgot what the hell the lyric was. Did I write the lyric down so I can remember? we're going in the last, or like going in the last or something, living in the last, or loving the last, or I guess his last resort. And you find out at the end who's seen in it is an underwater wannabe Elvis. Underwater, as in dry for wet, as in it's underwater because there's a couple fake creatures and fauna, but it's just, you and me, talking here. And the band's name is Dread Zeppelin. Yeah, Dread fucking fits. This is trying to be a live-action cartoon with no rules. And you know what? There have been movies that have done that I've enjoyed. Hell, the Harold and Kumar movies you just say are live-action cartoons. When you got to the third one, there was Santa Claus. Like, literally Santa Claus in it. Dude, Where's My Car? As a live-action cartoon. And that's, you went from Where's Your Car to all these other hijinks, including aliens. And 2 different kinds of aliens. It can work. Ernest P. Worrell movies you say are live-action cartoons, where it seems like anything could happen, like Jim Varney's character could go through all sorts of stuff and not have a paper cut. But this was just... I want to know the making of this film more than the film itself. Because I have to imagine that the 2 Coreys were high on their own supply of drugs when making this, as was everyone else. They're kind of going through the film, just doing stuff. It felt like they ad-libbed the entire movie. It felt like there was no script. Which is funny, because one of the names on the strip, yeah. I wish it was a strip. I wish it was a stripper just doing her job for 90 minutes. That would have been more of a fun time. Patrick Laborto, I can't pronounce his last name. He was a guy, he was on that JAG TV show. He played the Kevin Pollak character, wannabe. JAG is pretty much a few good men put into a TV show. Because you had the equivalent of Tom Cruise, you had the equivalent of Demi Moore. The equivalent of Kevin Pollak, he played that guy. It was a guy named Bud. He was also in Summer School. That's the thing, he was an actor. He was in Summer School. I think he was the guy helping the girl who was pregnant. He was one of the bullies in 3 Ninjas. Like one of the, not bullies, but the 3 guys that try to enter to steal stuff, and the 3 Ninjas do their Home Alone act. And the 3 thugs, oh, whoa, traps and stuff. He's like the leader of the 3 goons. He was in Ghoulies 3. He's one of the characters in that Animal House ripoff portion of Ghoulies 3. But he was an actor. And he wrote this. And along with Damian Lee or something, I forget his last name. Because I didn't fucking care this fucking movie. Damian was, the writer of this, was a director of Abraxas, the Jesse Ventura movie. And the director, I don't know what the hell the director's done. I think he did a film back in the day called Screwballs, and then Screwballs 2. So really there wasn't much talent behind the scenes in this, directing or writing. And Haim and Feldman felt like they're just having fun while they're doing drugs on the side, and they're having fun, and hey, if I do this, say this, is automatically funny. That's the vibe you get. Feldman in almost every scene is wearing a suit. This is Michael Jackson phase. Even at the end of the film, he's doing dance moves as if he's Michael Jackson. He's wearing the hats and the suits as if he thinks he's a smooth criminal. He's only a criminal. And it's funny because later on, he's wearing a suit, but the sleeves are cut off. Ooh. I'm like, take off that goddamn suit. You're not a fucking Blues Brother. Wannabe Blues Brother. And then Haim, he's not dressing much better. He's wearing this VR set at the beginning because they're working at this fast food place. It looks like what Rick Moranis wore in Ghostbusters when they were testing him, studying him. And so they're working this fast food, and this is where you really get into the live-action cartoon phase, because Feldman, I think even his character took drugs too, because he's literally imagining himself on a beach wearing a fucking Blues Brother Michael Jackson wannabe suit with a bunch of hot women on the beach. And he just gets up and he walks towards one and he kisses her, but he's really kissing his boss. And you have this girl who's choking, and she keeps having these different signs. Choking, I'm turning blue. Rip Moran, I mean not Rip Moranis. I'm glad Rip Moranis isn't in this, because he's above this shit. Corey Feldman is still in his delusions, walks towards a girl, kisses her, so now he's going on top of a girl who doesn't want it, but by doing it, pops the food out, hits the boss, he stumbles onto some cleaning material, and also somehow that makes the whole lights and the whole place burn up. And then Corey Haim, he's like, I've entered a new dimension. He takes his gear off, puts on the sunglasses, the camera pans out, and the whole place has been burnt to a burnt toast. Because again, it's going for that live action cartoon quality. And then the script just does whatever it wants. It goes to Jeffrey Lewis, who is Corey Feldman's uncle, who is an actor, but then he's also dressed like a pirate. And he's got this fake parrot. And then you have this bad guy who's a villain in movies, so he decides to become a villain in real life. And he's got these two goons, and he's got this altered voice. Hello there, how's it going? And he's got this pet lizard, which is like a plastic lizard. And then you cut to Feldman and Haim, and then they're in the I'm slurring my words as if I'm drunk. I wish I was drunk. I got some cough syrup, I could just drink that. And the way their place is set up is some kids' school art project where Corey Feldman's nighttime room, where it's like painted background, and it looks like a really shitty version of Blue's Clues. So he's at nighttime, and then Corey Haim's place is like daytime. And they get picked up by, I think it's Roger Clinton. I think it's a guy who's related to Bill Clinton. Like the same Roger Clinton I saw in Pumpkinhead 2. I think it's him as this World Gym steroid guy who's told by a landlord to throw these two out. And it's one of those films that anytime something happens of slapstick, there's a really, really goofy sound effects. Like a Power Rangers boing, you know, this type of sound effect. It's just obnoxious. It's a very obnoxious movie. It's a very annoying movie. And laughs are as distant as you would be at a funeral. And this also has terrible sound design. Like, this has some of the worst sound design because so many times our characters will be talking over each other, so you can't understand what the hell they're saying. So like Corey Haim, then Corey Feldman starts talking, they're talking over each other, and this other character's talking over each other. Or like there's a bit here after they get thrown out. They're on this bench and they're talking, and Corey Feldman's talking to Corey Haim. But there's also sirens in the background, and like I said, they're talking over each other, and there's this homeless person nearby who's doing these loud grunts and sighs. I'm like, is the homeless person jerking off? Are they having a wet dream? Or are they jumping up and down on the dildo? I don't know. And then they find some pebbles, some coin. We don't even get a good look at it. It feels like stuff they just made up on the day. That's why I refuse to believe there was a script to this. Otherwise, I want to know, was there a script and then they just rewrote the whole thing? Feldman and Haim just, we're on drugs, we'll just do whatever the hell we want. And here's the thing, National Lampoon, they did some good movies back in the day, like their name attached to it. Animal House, I loved Loaded Weapon 1. And that's what this movie's coming off. It's coming off as one of those parodies, but it's not parodying a certain movie. But it's coming off as, you know, you watch Scary Movie, you watch Scary Movie 2, you watch Hot Shots, and anything can happen at any moment. That's what I mean by live action cartoon. Like Hot Shots Part 2, where Charlie Sheen, they're doing the Rambo 3 bit, and then they both hit the guy in the middle, and his face turns to rubber, and then Charlie Sheen hits the guy, and then walnuts pop out of his mouth. I did. It's one of those anything can happen type of things. Only those movies are actually funny, because they're written by people that had a bit more competent nature than this. I mean, this is more akin to date movie and epic movie. And I would only put those as worse, because I like Corey Feldman and Corey Haim. Corey Haim more so. And I miss Corey Haim. And I like Corey Haim in the 80s when you had Watchers, and you had The Lost Boys, and you had License to Drive, and you had Stephen King's Silver Bullet. I enjoy those movies. And the 90s, maybe the best one he did was what? Demolition High? Maybe? Maybe the Fast Getaway movies? Maybe? And when those are your high points, then yeah, it's a bad decade. And Corey Feldman wasn't much better. I mean, what was that stupid movie I reviewed with Zach Galifianakis and Corey Feldman? Round Trip to Heaven? That's a bad movie too. I would say that's not as annoying as this one. So I guess that I would give that one more credit than this. So they get some coin, they boom, teleport, boom, they're at this beach. With fake pop-up palm trees. It's funny because they're fake pop-up palm trees. And they're looking up and they see a fake car in the sky. And they're on, they keep calling like Treasure Island, I forget where. There's this guy who works for the island called Flash. He's called Flash because he goes up and he flashes people. And you have annoying guests. Like you have these two redneck they say they're from Texas. So the typical stereotypes. Very, very rednecky. He says a line like, "In Texas, Jews are as rare as pig fart in church." These are great lines of dialogue. These are lines supposed to make you laugh. And I don't remember, like, something about, I don't remember what the bad guy wants. If the bad guy wants to take over the island, or he wants to find some treasure, or he wants to kill Jeffrey Lewis, but he doesn't. But then he wants to take care of Corey Feldman, because they say, oh yeah, we're CIA, oh yeah, we're scuba divers, oh yeah, we're this and that, and they're none of those. And it cuts to, like, the villain just doing random stuff. Like, at one point he has a wannabe Freddy Krueger glove, and then he's talking to this girl who's chained up. I don't remember this lady, why she was chained up. I don't remember if we ever saw this lady again. Or they're trying to put on scuba gear, and it's funny because they put it on the wrong way and they don't know how to do it. I don't know how to put on scuba gear. It's funny. It's so fucking funny. Ain't fucking funny. Shove this fucking can up your ass. Put on Pornhub. That'd be funny. Makes me fucking get stomach pains. Like Corey Haim, he puts on scuba gear and oh my god, I don't know how to do this, so it blows up and he flies. When I say fly, it's Corey Haim just staring at the camera going, oh, in the background not moving. And the stunt actor goes and lands in this woman with fake silicone tits face. And when he lands, the silicone tits explode. It's not gory or anything, thankfully. It just, he flies back, you see some tatters, and the woman falls back, and there's the bra. And then, you know, just, she was much thinner, so to speak. And it does these random things, like Corey Haim likes this girl, but the girl seems like she doesn't like him for most of the film, so he'll kiss her, And when he kisses her, he goes to the camera and goes, boom. But the movie, like, repeats that, boom, boom, boom. I just edits the scene at the end and the end to repeat it. Boom, 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 boom. I think he says boom. It sounded like boom. And you have, like, they put on scuba gear and they're in the water, but they're not in the water. They're just on a sound stage with, like, fake coral reefs, and they're just pretending, because that's the joke. And then they see a mermaid, and I guess we're to assume that Corey Feldman had sex with the mermaid, because they're in bed later. Feldman's, like, lying on the tail, and the mermaid got the short end of the stick because she's lying beside Corey Feldman's feet. They probably stink just like his personality. I'm not a fan of Feldman. I liked his early stuff. Lost Boys, Stand By Me, The Goonies. I think he was a better actor as a kid than as an adult. And just his behavior, his documentary, the way he made that happen. I think there are times where I don't think he treated Corey Haim that well. I have no proof for that. But I just have this gut reaction that he fucked over Corey Haim in some way. He introduced Corey Haim to some people that he shouldn't have. He kind of used him. It seemed like he used him on that show, The Two Coreys. I don't know. Yeah, I could absolutely be 100% wrong, but I just get that feeling with Feldman that Corey Haim seems like a guy who went through bad troubles I feel sorry for, but he seems like a guy I could have trusted. Corey Feldman seems like a guy I wouldn't trust with a $10 bill, let alone anything important. I don't know, I just get that feeling. And like I said, at times they speak over themselves, and there's no driving plot. It's just random scene, random scene, random scene. Just random scene. Even one of my cats got annoyed, if you heard that. The cat heard me talking about this and had PTSD flashes. Yeah! I mean, this would be one of the worst comedies I've seen. Again, the worst, no, I would put Going Overboard, the epic movie, Beat the Spartans, date movies, inappropriate comedy, that stuff, but, and they made like 10 of those, so that'd probably be the whole top 10. But this is definitely in the top 20. Like, this is terrible. This is a terrible comedy. Easily the worst film I've seen with the two of them in it. I don't like Blown Away, but Blown Away, sadly, is more competently made than this. And that's sad. Because that movie's lame as hell, too. Corey Feldman's character can't afford sleeves. And this is what I mean by the made-up quality of it. Like, it gets to his third act. There's just random scenes happening. Like, there's a bit where Corey Feldman goes to talk to Uncle, and he's pretending to be a pirate. And then Corey Haim's also pretending to be a pirate. And then Jeffrey Lewis and Corey Haim are having, like, a sword fight. And I don't even remember why the hell that happens. And that's what I mean by, like, the made-up quality, like, they're each person on their phone, and it felt like, okay, try to say something funny, try to do something funny, try to do something funny, we have nothing here. And so then Corey Haim's just going on the phone, you gotta come, 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 you gotta come. And they thought, okay, that's funny, print. You don't want to try to write a funny line? You just don't have Corey Haim repeat, you gotta come, you gotta come, you gotta get over here, you gotta come. Which come? C-U-M or the other come? At one point, Corey Feldman that gives his speech about being honest. I'm like, that's the most ironic bit in the movie with Feldman. Zelda Rubinstein comes in. You know, the lady in Poltergeist 1, 2, and 3. This house is clean. Was it Tangina? You know, this psych... You know, Zelda Rubinstein of Poltergeist. If you know Poltergeist, you know who Zelda Rubinstein is. The short lady, little lady. She's in this as the old hermit, and then becomes like a game show. And this is what I'm talking about. I was about the terrible editing. When they meet Zelda, Corey Haim is wearing one outfit. Then I guess it's like they said, "Oh shit, we gotta get Corey Feldman here. How we do it? We don't put a scene in with you calling Corey Feldman." But I swear Corey Haim is wearing a different outfit for that one scene. I swear, like, his shirt and stuff changed. Maybe I was seeing things. Maybe the movie's drug addicted, you know, the bank addicted drug robber that this film is. Maybe it infected my brain like a damn virus, and it's seeping through my pores, and I saw things I didn't really see. But it looked like he had a different outfit when he called Corey Feldman, and then they got Feldman in that scene, where it's just a game show, and either they dance or their dicks get measured. So if you want to see Zelda Rubinstein just pull tape, thankfully you don't see any dicks. I didn't want to see any of that. A goofy fight happens. He's ready. The bad guy's ready to stab Corey Feldman. Corey Haim, with his VR set, alters the bad guy's voice. It just felt like this entire movie, no one cared. No one cared. They just wanted a movie done with the National Lampoon name on it. Hey, we get to be someplace where it's sunny, it's the beach. We don't care about what we wear. We don't care about what we say. Feldman and Haim in the drug phase going, hey, anything we say, anything we do, we're just having fun. It's just a paycheck. I guarantee you this was a paycheck movie. This was a paycheck movie. Barely had a script. I can't imagine people writing this down and thinking this was funny. For people who made this film, please tell me something. You can tell me I'm wrong. Yes, this is what the script was. I'd be like, then why the hell did no one go, yeah, this script sucks, let's rewrite it? If you were telling me that, yeah, they were high on drugs, they came in whenever they wanted, they partied whenever they wanted, they just did whatever you wanted, we just shot the camera, boom, 90 minutes or so, piss it out there into the crowd. It ends with a damn wannabe Elvis guy singing this crappy song underwater with the band Dred Zeppelin. Even by the end, it felt like no one cared. It felt like either Corey Feldman is trying to do some VR sex game with the girl and she's moaning, and Corey Haim's doing that. Corey Feldman, he's off doing something. Then this band plays, a band I don't think we ever saw before. And then, like, Corey Feldman's doing his wannabe Michael Jackson moves to the camera. And there's no structure. There's no sense of pacing. It's not boring because you're wondering what the hell's going to happen next. And it's trying to be just loud and obnoxious and annoying to throw in your face, and they think that results in comedy. And it doesn't. This is piss poor in every single way that you think of. Last I checked, it had like a 2.7 IMDb. I fully get that. I fully agree. It's abysmal. It's an abysmal movie. I guess unless you're the most diehard Corey Haim, Corey Feldman fan, you'd watch it, but this has no laughs. It's sad. Because Corey Haim, I've seen, I like Watchers 1. I like Watchers 2 as well, but, he was in Watchers 1. Silver Bullet. Corey Haim had talent. Feldman, if you get him in the right role, they work well, License to Drive. I was never into Dream a Little Dream 1, but that is better made than this. But I was never into that film. The story never grabbed me. Even Corey Feldman, I liked the third Lost Boys movie, the Thirst. For a direct-to-video film, I thought that was fine for what it needed to be. I was entertained by that movie. So it's not like I'm some guy who's just holier-than-thou critic that needs to dot the I's across the T's. There's a lot of movies that are flawed, but I still enjoy. This, like, you try watching this and try following any type of anything. I mean, when those parody films have a structure, even Loaded Weapon 1, okay, it's following a bit of Lethal Weapon. Here's these two. They meet up. They're partners. Here's this crime involving cookies. There's the villain, William Shatner. There's the other villain, Tim Curry. Sam Jackson's friend Whoopi Goldberg's killed. Emilio Estevez has this dog who was his friend who disappeared. Like, as goofy and silly as it is, there's still a follow-through you can actually make from beginning to end. This, it felt like random scenes, and you could just switch them around, and it would not change anything about the movie. It just threw stuff out on the wall. It grabbed whatever, put them together in the blender, and here you go. So, I mean, National Lampoon is definitely one of the worst National Lampoon. And some of these movies went in the theaters, like Senior Trip. Senior Trip is decent. That had Jeremy Renner, Tommy Chong as the bus driver, Max Headroom himself, Matt Frewer. It's not a great movie, but it's a time waster. That's a competent movie. That's a decent competent movie. It's interesting to see Jeremy Renner, a very young role. It's at least a time waster, and that went in the theaters, because I remember that movie being advertised. I think it was Jason Goes to Hell, or it was New Line Cinema. And that was around the time of this. And I don't know if that was the last National Lampoon movie that went in the theaters or what. This, I know there's also some kind of sweepstakes that if you do this, like if you watch the end of the movie, you could do stuff to enter. I'm like, yeah, great, that's punishment enough. You should be paying people to finish the movie. Some sweepstakes that you enter, I know a friend of mine says the only reason this movie was made was because of this sweepstakes. I would love someone who actually won that sweepstakes to talk about it. Please, if someone who won that sweepstakes ever sees this movie, please comment on the whole experience, whether good or bad. Please. I forget what the details were, because that was like the only bit of trivia is the sweepstakes. I don't know if Corey Feldman talks about this in his book. I'm not buying his book, but if anyone has his book, Choreography, yeah, that's what it's called, Choreography. Feldman, if he talks about it, let me know what he says about it, like, if anything. If he, But yeah, with that said, thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.